Ready? Good. Got the recording. Now we are working from this photo tonight, just to be clear. I actually stole this picture from Pinterest. Wonderful resource for still life photos. What I looked up was classical Dutch still life, and this is a very classic Dutch still life. So the Dutch were known for incorporating glassware in with natural shapes and forms. So that's why we're doing this one today. And the way the forms are represented there and the colors, I think it would work really well. Now, in terms of the composition, the crosshairs line up pretty well with the bottle. The horizontal crosshair lines up with the dark spot on the pumpkin. So you see a patch of dark here and the bottle. Those are going to be focal areas. So I'm going to pay close attention to getting some detail in those places. The palette is mostly orange and blue, the blues being blue violet and blue green. So that's pretty much the plan for it. Uh, make sure you pre-sketch. Hopefully everybody did. And for the palette we're using tonight, I'm using all the usual suspects except black. So alizarin crimson, cadmium yellow medium, ultramarine blue, umber, and titanium white. So make sure you have your palette.
You said except the brown, or what did you say?
I said except black. So no black.
Oh,
So
okay.
we're
Now I
using
understand. Yes.
umber.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
umber
Okay.
instead.
I got to go buy umber. My umber is gone, 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 but I have some brown. Maybe it's okay.
You can use burnt umber
Yeah,
or raw sienna.
I
If
have this called brown pink. I don't know.
huh.
We'll
Well,
see.
as long as it's a dark value, you're good.
Okay, I got dark. Yeah.
Okay. I'm limiting the brushes. I'm going to use mostly a bright, a flat, and a round.
Mm-hmm.
I may pop in with a little detail brush here and there. So when everyone is pre-sketched and has their palette and is all set up and ready to go, give me a thumbs up. Thanks, Lynn. Thanks, Sylvia.
Could I see your brushes again,
Sure.
please?
Okay.
So the blue, that green one is a round? No, that's your,
This is a round. This is a flat. This one is, it was probably a cat's tongue at one point, but it's now more of a flat.
all right. So your round is
This would be a round.
that one. Okay. Thank
Yeah.
you.
This would be the bright. The bright would come to a point. Hi, Ann. Wonderful to see you.
Hi, sorry I'm late.
That's okay. Ann, did you get a chance to finish anything that you might want to share?
Well, yeah, I had finished this painting. I mostly finished.
Good. Let me put you in the spotlight so other people can see it too.
Mostly finished.
Oh, you
Nice.
I just
know,
want a little more on the apples, just a little more bringing that brown out, and that's it.
I love it. The shape on the wedges down below worked beautifully. The edge on the base is beautiful. The shape of the apples. It there's a little magic that happens when you spend some time on it. I like
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
Indeed.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Very nice. All right. Make sure you have pre-sketched your canvas. And Anne, when you have your palette set up and you're ready to go, give me a thumbs up.
I'm good. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm good too. I had to
Okay.
change my clothes. I had just 4 people for dinner. I forgot I had my other clothes on.
Well, I'm glad you sent them packing before class.
Yes, yeah. No, they had to go somewhere too, but I just wanted to
Oh,
see them.
good. That worked out well. All right, lovely people. We are going to get started then. Let's get this set up. Okay, I'm going to leave you all unmuted unless you become rowdy and unruly. No, I'm just teasing. As long as you can hear me, I'm happy to leave people unmuted and you can ask questions. It might be easier since we don't have that many people. Now, I'm going to be starting off a little different. We have been using a lot of subtractive painting up till this point, so we're going to go back to uh, some old-fashioned working dark to light with just a sketch on the canvas. So I'm not going to do any subtractive for this one, but I am going to start off with some umber on a flat. I'm using just a 1/2 inch flat because it's manageable. And I'm going to start off by putting some dark towards the background. I want to create a sense of depth in the corners. So it's really just umber on both sides. To feather that color out, I'm dipping my brush in water, or you could use solvent if you're using oil, and just going a little bit lighter as the up towards the middle of the canvas. All right, now we have some good umber towards the background. I'm going to change the darks layer by layer so that they're a little different in the foreground and middle ground. So the bottles are in the middle ground. To make some of the darks in the bottles, I'm starting with umber, but I'm going to put blue in with the umber and red and make a violet color. This is, if I put a little more blue in it, it's the color of the squat bottle that looks very dusty. So I'm using that for the dark. Letting that edge be lost up against the umber in the background.
Sean, you did say that you're using blue and umber because it's reading really red on my screen. Or did you?
No, I put blue
Okay.
and red.
So and red. Okay.
Yeah, both in with the umber. So I'm making like a purple color.
Okay.
Putting a little bit more red in that same color for the wine bottle. All right. So the dark on the pumpkin, that's a little bit warmer. So I'm going to put just umber and red, no blue, no blue. And the dark on the pumpkin, I'm going to have it pretty dark facing the wine bottle. Look at the pattern of dark that's on each part of the pumpkin. See how it helps to divide the wedges on the pumpkin and show you the shape of it. It isn't a perfect pattern. The pattern is dark on the left side. Then right when you get to the middle part, it becomes dark on the right side and towards the face of the pumpkin. So pay attention to that pattern because that helps to create the light logic. All right, that same color, that reddish umber, is inside the cut part of the pumpkin. That's a dark where the seeds are. All right, and then we're going to make some homemade black for the front. Homemade black is umber with red and blue. And that's going to give you a really good heavy dark, similar to what we put in the background. And we're putting that as the cast shadows in the front, in the foreground. So that would be the cast shadow on the plate underneath the pumpkin, the cast shadow underneath the plate as well. You can skip the plate if there's too much detail and you don't want to put every little thing in. You can simplify and skip certain things.
Dawn, could you put your picture a little bit higher? For some reason, I don't have the bottom part. Yeah, yeah, okay, that's great. Yep, yeah.
I'm not going to get the entire cloth and everything on there either. This is as big as I can do it on an 8 by 10 canvas, which is what I have. All right, these are the darts. This is the pattern of darts. So as soon as you get all of your darts in place, give me a thumbs up so I know you're caught up.
Sean,
Mhm.
can you talk about the black again? What was you made your own black? But I don't see where you put it.
In the foreground. And it's not much different than the other colors. So you're using a little umber,
Uh-huh.
red,
Uh-huh.
and blue and mixing them together. So it's like violet mixed with umber. And that's going to give you an intense dark. That's a little juicier than pure black. And the places I'm putting it is the cast shadows in the foreground. So under the plate, under the wedge of the pumpkin that's sitting on the plate, and the cut part of the pumpkin.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
that's it.
Ooh.
I'm sorry, Sharon, are we supposed to put our thumbs up when we're ready?
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah, it looks like
Okay.
everybody's pretty much ready. So you guys look like you're coming up. All right, we're gonna move to the middle values. The fours will be next. The fours are the crest shadows that show the shape on all of these objects. So we already have the crest shadows on the bottles. So I'm going to start off with the pumpkin in here. Make sure that we have a strong crest shadow in there. I'm making an orange by mixing a small amount of red with a large amount of yellow. This red will overpower yellow real quick. Once I get that orange in place, and you get different oranges by mixing different reds with the yellows. This particular red is alizarin crimson with cadmium yellow. So I'm getting a different orange than I might normally get. So with the true orange, I'm gonna knock it down a little by adding a small touch of umber. So this makes it more of a burnt orange. That gives it a shadowy look. And that's what I'm looking for the crest shadow or fore value. So you can see that crest shadow right next to the shadowy part. And actually, mm, sorry, everybody. I think I had a glitch in my internet. So we're still painting the fore value. This is beautiful crest or form shadow on that pumpkin. As you're painting, be careful with the pumpkin. Don't be too thick with your lines that separate the segments. Some of those lines are really not lines at all, but rather edges where two parts of the segment come together. So let them be thin and not that clear. And make your brush strokes describe the form so that you're starting from the center part and you're pulling the paint out and around the shape of the pumpkin. The brush strokes will create the form of the pumpkin in the paint, just like we did with the apples last week. Okay, once you're done with the big pumpkin that's on its side, bring some of that orange, that dark orange, into the onions on the lower right-hand corner. And then on the wedge cutout of the pumpkin, you'll see that all around the center part is a little bit darker. And then we're going to use the same color on the cutout wedge of the pumpkin that's leaning right up against it.
Oh, shoot.
All right, so we've worked that pumpkin color all through the pumpkin that's up on its side, through the onions that are off to the lower right side, the center part of the cut pumpkin, and the wedge pumpkin. Now I'm going to alter that color a little. I'm basically just cleaning my brush, dipping it in red. I'm getting a little bit of red on the bristles. I'm going to add a little bit of red to the wine bottle here.
Did you clean your brush?
Kind of, yeah, I wiped it off. If you have a little bit of, if you have too much of the pumpkin color, it's going to muddy it. So give it a rinse or grab a fresh brush. Putting an edge of red around the outer side of that wine bottle. I'm going to pull that red around through the composition by putting some on the bottle cap of the short, squat, dusty bottle next to it. And I'm going to put just a touch of red in a few places in the cut pumpkin and the bottom side of the pumpkin that's on its side. So that way the red is in a few other places. I'm adding some red to the pumpkin color I made before, the dark pumpkin color. So now it's more reddish orange than anything. And that reddish orange, I'm going to bring into the bottle that's right smack dab in the middle. This bottle's like a bridge between the red wine bottles and the orange pumpkin. All right, one more four, and that's the greenish part on the skin of the pumpkin that's sitting on the platter. To get that color, I'm taking a very small amount of ultramarine, some yellow. Ultramarine gives me a darker, more blue, green, green than I'm getting. So it's more of an olive color. Give it a little test on the photo reference. You want to see if that's right. It's pretty darn close. You can dull it down if you need to with a touch of umber if you want it to be a little more warm or brown, or you can lighten it with a little more yellow. I'm making my strokes in the same shape as the pumpkin, and I'm just putting a tone down here so that it's darker in the front. I want to emphasize the cut edge and create a little texture on the pumpkin, on the skin of that pumpkin. All right. Everyone caught up with the fours? Give me a thumbs up when you're done with your fours. That's it for those fours. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Aaron. Thanks, Aaron. Got it. Brush up or a thumbs up, either way.
Ready?
Okay, thanks, Suzanne. We're gonna push through the threes and then we'll stop and take a look at them when we're done with our threes. So the threes, the middle values are mostly the oranges. So I'm gonna mix that same orange over again, putting quite a bit of yellow, a small amount of red. I want a three, that's about a middle value. If I'm not sure whether I got it or not, I give it a test. So on the reference photo, the three you're looking for is the color of the flesh of the pumpkin. So that is close, but it's a little too dark. I'm going to go one step lighter, add a touch more yellow to it. And I'm starting on the cut piece of pumpkin because most of that pumpkin color is actually going to be on the pumpkin that's on the platter. We're not using this pumpkin color on the pumpkin that's on the side. That's a two. I'm also putting a little bit of orange on the outside of the pumpkin that's cut on the platter, just to add some texture to the peel. All right. So that's the orange. We're not going to be putting that bright orange too many other places. I put it on the lid of the red bottle that's towards the center. A couple of brush strokes on the pumpkin, and that's it. The next color is the tablecloth color. I mixed a little bit of the ultramarine with white and then a touch of yellow. Get just a touch and then test it. See if it's close. It doesn't have to be exactly the same color, just a reasonable facsimile.
I'm sorry, what was that
Mhm.
again? The colors? Ultramarine?
So ultramarine with white, basically ultramarine and white,
Thank you.
and then a little bit of yellow. So ultramarine, white, a touch of yellow, and that's going to give you um, a teal color. It'll be in the same family, whether it's exactly the same color or not. And we're going to block in. Extra credit if you can find a couple of places to put that color. All right, one more thing we're going to paint before we take a look is the background. The background is a 3 towards the middle and a 2 towards the top. So in doing the background, I'm going to start with white, pull some white off to the side, add a touch of umber to the white, and then a small touch of red, and this is going to give it a mauve look. When I've got a color that's light enough, I'm going to test it. See if that works for the background. That's pretty close to the light part on the top. So again, to go through those colors, it's white with a very small amount of red and umber, and that gives you the mauve. And I'm starting up towards the lightest part, which is in the center part of the canvas, and I'm making X's, little X's. As I move down, I'm going to make bigger brush strokes, and I'm getting a little more paint each time I do so that it's darker. And just making X's. It doesn't have to mix. You want to have it very painterly looking and not quite as mixed. You may need to add a little more umber as you go to get it darker until you get to the middle part where your umber is from last time. If you're using oil, it's still wet, so you can lift it up. If you're not using oil, you're going to have to go on top of it and maybe repaint a good portion of it. Right, that's about the midpoint of this painting. So when you reach the midpoint, let's take a look, make sure we're all on the same page before we move on to the twos and finish it up. Lynn, you look like you're ready. Oh, I thought that was a wave. If it's not, take your time. No problem.
Okay, Sean, I think I am.
Okay, let's take a look. Ooh, wow, beautiful. I am not seeing anything that's problematic. Be careful with the pumpkin that's on its side because the center part is the dark part, so you don't want it to become too oblong.
Here?
Uh-huh.
Say that again then?
Okay, so the dark part is the center part.
Right?
So
Right
you
there.
want to make sure that it doesn't become too oblong, that it's not too weighted on one side. Look, if you made a full circle out of that pumpkin, would it be symmetrical? Would it be in proportion?
If I made a full circle here?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Right. So that's where you want to be careful. Don't let it get too far out of proportion there.
Oh, I thought it was, I purposely did that. I thought that that was more because it was, if it was a full circle facing, if it was leaning over, that wouldn't be a full circle. That would be more of an oblong. So I made it, so it's not leaning forward.
Well, maybe, but the dark part in the center, just that's the center line.
Yeah, so
The
that's the
so be
center.
careful. Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
just be careful. Don't let it get too weighted. Everything else looks spot
Okay.
on. I like your background. That came out really nice.
Thank you. Thank you. I tried to put some of that blue here because I thought I saw some blue on that,
Mhm.
but it was too bright. So I'll have to tone it down when you get to that part.
Yeah, that's a two, so we'll be working on that next.
Thank you.
Good work, my friend. All right, whenever anyone else is ready, just give me a little wave. Lynn, is that a little wave? Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Hey,
Well,
oh
let's
my gosh, Lynn. Oh, you're muted. It was you unmuted, then now it's muted.
okay, there we go.
Much better. Okay. Lynn, this is really painterly. I'm loving the painterliness of your past couple of paintings. Like you've been bitten by the painterly bug. And I think it works so well. So well. Um, good. I like the blockiness in the background. I think that's working. Your your bottles, they're beautiful. They remind me of like the three wise men in the in the nativity scene. They're just standing there letting the important part take place in front of them.
Mhm.
Everything else looks in proportion. I don't see any problems.
All right. Well, that's what happens when you rush a little bit. I'm always behind. So I'm painterly, so I don't have time for details. I'm like, oh, I'll just throw it in and catch it up later.
That's good. That's good. If you can stay ahead of your perfectionism, then you're way ahead of the game.
I'm just trying to keep up with you, Sean, so that negates my perfectionism.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I try to push you to paint quickly so that you're not overthinking, you know?
Hmm.
But the trouble comes, I think, when we have too much time and we overwork things.
Hmm.
Um, if you skip the plate underneath the pumpkin, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah,
If
I got
you
a lot
want to,
of it tonight. Oops.
well, I did too, but if you want to go ahead and bring that tablecloth up to the pumpkin, you
Hmm.
don't have to put the plate in. If you want to include the plate, you can still do it, but it
Okay.
isn't necessary. It isn't important to get every little detail.
Hmm. Okay.
Beautifully done, my friend.
Thank you.
So Sean, I did something a little crazy, but it's interesting. I'll show it to you. It's the first time I've ever painted on a canvas other than a rectangle or a square.
I saw you loading up the condo shape, and I was wondering what you were doing.
I
That's
only
really
had no, the
cool.
only canvases I had left was a round one.
Nice.
And I
Nice.
thought I would experiment since there's a lot of circularity going on in this composition. So, um, and the other thing I didn't do, it's purely alla prima tonight because I didn't get a chance to sketch in. So,
Oh, wow. Okay. So your shapes are working with the shape of the canvas. I think that's really cool how
mhm,
you're doing that. I would skip or not worry about the onions on the lower left side.
okay,
Having the shape of the pumpkin and the cut pumpkin is enough.
right,
Be careful on that cut pumpkin and make sure the perspective of the wedge
yeah,
works well. So what I'm talking about is the pumpkin that's on the platter, like the
yes,
cheese pumpkin, the
yes,
front edge of it where it's
yeah,
cut, that needs to be bigger and sharp, a real found edge. It's
hmm,
a little bit bigger than the part that's to the side.
gotcha. Yeah, I can see the perspective is off too. It's the plane. It's on a flatter plane. It's on a more horizontal
Yeah.
plane. Yeah,
Yeah. Let me show you for a second on the reference photo.
yeah,
So to make it believable, this wedge needs to be a little smaller,
yep,
push back, and the dark of the seeds goes right up to the cut edge
gotcha.
of that pumpkin.
Mm,
Emphasize this cut edge, make it a little bit bigger, coming forward a little bit, and that's going to read more like a cut edge. Okay.
okay, great. I'm gonna have coffee in the morning and continue.
Well, there's still time. That's looking really good so far, Ian.
It's fun to do something different for a change.
It is. It is. I love the concept,
Yeah.
the rounded shape for a still life. I think that works well. Florence, are you ready to check in mid-class? Hey. Oh, wow.
Like it?
Okay.
Oh. I was,
Florence,
yeah, here this, I did the bottle wrong, and so I had to put white back in so it gets a little bit clearer. But when it's drier, then I can maybe go over it. No, but
mhm.
I kind of like it in this in the screen better than I like it. When I look at it. Yeah, yeah. So what were
So,
you?
Florence, I would bring some of the light down behind the objects and let the light and dark mix and mingle a little better in the background so that
Okay,
it's not such a hard edge where the dark ends and the light begins. You don't want to have an edge back there.
okay. So around the bottles, it's supposed to be a soft edge.
Around the bottles and behind the bottles.
Oh,
It's,
behind the bottles, a little bit more transparent.
yeah, so if you look behind the bottle, you can see there is a sharp edge where the dark ends, and that's what I want to get rid of.
Okay, okay. Mm-hmm. I'll try. Not really sure if I know.
And behind the pumpkin as well. So on both sides. And the way to do that is with the X motion with your brush, and I'll show you on mine. So that X motion,
Okay.
you're just making little crosses
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
like this, and that pulls some of the light down into the dark. You may have to reapply some of the dark and bring some of the light down into it for that to take since you're using acrylic. I'm sure it's already dried. What's on
Mine's
there?
oil. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, if yours is oil, then it should still work.
Okay. So do I take thinner and then go over it up and down like if I would,
I
like
don't,
hmm. between
I don't
the,
know that you need thinner. If the dark paint on the bottom is still wet and the light paint on top, the light, you may need to add more paint to your brush to
okay,
apply. And I'm not using pure white for this. I'm using kind of a mauve color and
okay.
then just make X's so that there's no strong edge
So
down here.
X's. Okay, now I understand
Yeah,
what you mean.
little X's.
Ah, okay, okay. That's a new brush stroke for me. Okay, I'm looking if I can find something that's a little bit off white, but I'll just have to mix my white then.
Yeah, mix it. It's the same color you used up towards the top.
Yeah,
And as you go down, it just mixes a little more with the shadow.
okay. I will try.
Okay.
I'll work
All
on
right,
that.
my friend.
Okay.
Let's spend 2 minutes doing the changes to the background, and then we'll move on to the next part. All right, we're gonna move to the twos. Yay, twos. So the twos are starting off the the color of the pumpkin that's on its side is a two. Now that color is not orange, it's a very light orange. So I'm going to start off by mixing a touch of yellow, a very small amount of red, and then a chunk of white. I want to make sure that this is a light orange and not too pink or too yellow. It'd be very light orange. I'm going to test it before I apply it. I always test on the reference photo, give it a try, and that is pretty darn close. So with the light orange, this is when the shape of that pumpkin will really start to gel for you. I'm putting the highlight along the right-hand side of the wedges I'm paying attention to the highlights on the reference photo. As I move to the center, the highlight becomes thicker, clearer. There's a wedge that's right in the middle that's almost all highlight. And then the pattern of the light shifts towards the right, the lower right.
Whoa.
It's so gratifying to get that pumpkin painted, isn't it? I used a little bit of that same light orange on the two onions in the lower right corner. Now I'm not using that color on the pumpkin that's on the platter. Notice that the pumpkin is a slightly different color than the one that's up on its side. So the pumpkin that's on the platter is more of a yellow light. So I'm going to toss a large amount of yellow into the mixture I just made. Add a little more white if you need it. There should be a touch of red so that it's a lighter yellow orange, but it shouldn't be as bright or as orange as the pumpkin that's on its side. As I apply the paint, I want to make sure that I'm shaping that pumpkin with my brush stroke. So my brush is literally following the shape of the pumpkin. In case I went too quick with the colors are just yellow and white. There should already be a little bit of red in your brush that gives it an orangey tone, but it isn't light orange. It's not as light as the pumpkin that's up on its side. It's much more golden in color.
Flower is chasing him. I think she just wants to beat him up.
All right, as you work your way around the cut pumpkin with the yellow, be sure to overemphasize the cut edge of the pumpkin. Let it come forward. Let it be really intense and sharp. And that'll give you that sense that it's cut. That light yellow color is also a color we're going to use with the seeds. Now with the seeds, de-emphasize, don't overemphasize the seeds. Remember last week with the seeds, you don't want to have too many seeds or have too much of a pattern. The same with the wedge of cut pumpkin off to the side. The yellow is the color of the cut part. So where the seeds are, to save some yellow to put right around the seed area. All right, let's finish up with the yellow. Clean your brush. All right, now we're going to move to the bottle. This is an unfinished violet bottle. I'm using ultramarine and white to make the highlight on it. If your ultramarine has a lot of red in it, then it'll come out as like a violet, which is about perfect, if or a lavender. If it doesn't, you may need to add a touch of red. Try it on your reference photo before you do it. Now I'm going to brush this color from the right to the left to create that kind of dusty effect. This is a dry brush technique. So I'm going on top of what's already dried here. If you're using oil, just go a little bit thicker with this paint than you did with the other. It still cover. I'm not attempting to paint the whole bottle. I'm just painting the light part. All right, we have one more or two, and then we're going to go to the highlight. So the last two is the cork in the bottle. That cork is a taupe color. To get that color, I'm mixing orange, just a touch, a little bit, putting a little blue in with it, and then a lot of white. And that's going to give me a light sandy brown color. Taupe. And this is for the lighter part on that cork sticking out of the bottle. I'll use a little bit of it on the onions as well. All right. And when you're done with that, we're going to be putting on some highlights. So this is a good job for the round brush. I'm going to start off with a very thin bit of white on the tip of the brush. And put a thin line on the cap of the little squat bottle. A strong dark in the center of the wine bottle. And then a thin line straight up the neck. On the bottle in the center, putting a strong highlight on the shoulder of the bottle, and then following it through on the neck of the bottle, all the way up to the cap. On the plate, I'm putting a thin line of white on the edge of the plate. And then lastly, towards the center of the pumpkin that's cut on the platter, I'm going to start in the center, pull a highlight up, and use it to help define the shape. Make your brush follow the curve, just like you did with the apples. All right, that's my story. I'm going to stick to it. I'm not going to do anything else tonight on this painting. So when you've had a chance to do all that you care to do, let's take a look.
Sean,
Yeah.
I need to get going, so I'm going to uh, show what I got, and then I'm sorry I got to drop off.
All right, let's take a look. So putting Suzanne in the spotlight. Wow.
I still have a couple of things to do um, with the cork, and I was playing with the plate, but I'm getting in a hurry, so I want to stop before I do something silly.
Okay, fair enough. So I don't think the plate is all that important to the composition. The focal point of the bottle and the pumpkin, the dark part of the pumpkin works well. Um, Make sure your brush strokes, especially on the pumpkin that's on the platter, make sure that the light starts at the center and pulls its way out, that you're following the shape. You're always reasserting the shape of that pumpkin as you go.
Okay.
Um, and I don't think I would do any other changes per se. Let some of those bottles, especially towards the bottom, be lost edges. The same with the pumpkin. Let them be lost edges where they disappear into the darkness on the side.
This pumpkin?
Hmm.
Okay.
And that's it.
Okay. Thank
All
you.
right. Good job, my friend.
I'm sorry I have to drop.
Okay, Suzanne, you have a good night and a happy Thanksgiving. I'll see you soon.
Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you all. Bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
What time is it? Are we finished now? Oh, okay. I'm not
Let's
really
take
sure.
a look whenever you're finished.
Am I the last one?
No.
Oh, okay. No, I'm not really finished at all, but anyway, that's okay.
Well, we
Oh,
can wait. You don't have to go yet if you need a few more minutes.
Okay. I wanted to do the knife.
So
Oh, and
I
that
was
is
able to
beautiful.
get the shape and the plane flatten out the cheese pumpkin.
Hmm.
So I'm just going to keep working into it. And I think I like this leaving the white
Hmm.
to kind of indicate it's the dish without really being the plate. You know, I'll wipe this out a little,
Hmm.
just use that edge, the negative
Good.
space.
That pulls you in. It's also the lightest part of your composition.
Hmm.
So whatever's lightest and warmest comes forward that way. So that really pulls you in.
Hmm.
I would use that as a highlight in other places.
Okay.
Make sure the neck of that bottle in the background has
Mm,
some of the background color in it. Yeah, so that
okay.
it looks translucent.
Yeah, it's
And
too green.
maybe,
Green, yeah.
yeah, maybe one step darker in the back of the pumpkin, the whole of the pumpkin,
Hmm.
so that it becomes dark enough to balance out that dark bottle on the left side.
Here and this pumpkin here,
Mhm.
darker.
Exactly. That spot
Okay.
right there.
Yeah, balancing out
Beautiful.
with that deep red. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, you want to have that strong row of darks all the way around the pumpkin on the plate. Beautiful, my friend. Beautiful.
Well,
I love your inventive use of the rounded canvas.
what the heck? It was fun.
Great job.
Adventurous, being adventurous.
Good job.
Uh, we've got so many brushes going here. Uh, Okay, look at this. Okay, I got so many brushes going here. It's unbelievable.
That's okay. Are you ready to show your work, Florence?
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna just
All
go.
right, I'll put you in the spotlight.
Okay, well, I'd have to do the tablecloth a little bit differently. It's too flat, but otherwise, yeah.
Oh, that is really beautiful, Florence. Really beautiful.
But the
Very
plate,
Cézanne-esque.
yeah,
Yes.
I think
So
the plate
let
is too much, no? Yeah.
the plate, the tablecloth, those things are flat, but they don't bother me.
Uh,
Um, the bottles, don't let them get too big on the bottom. Let them disappear into the darkness. Let them be lost edges. My favorite bottle is the red one in the middle, the red wine bottle. The
yeah.
way you handle the paint and you pull that same reddish color through the composition worked really well.
Okay. And you
I
mean,
also like that pumpkin.
yeah, it looks almost like a whole bunch of bananas, no? But
Not at all. It looks like a pumpkin. It really reads like a pumpkin. You got the light logic correct on it.
I had yellow squash soup today. A girl from my English girlfriend made it for me. It was so delicious. So just refined with lemon. It was so delicious. Very pure.
Yeah,
Yeah. And you can have it,
beautiful.
eat it cold. It tastes really delicious cold. No? No, anyway. What else did you put into it? Maybe a little bit of broth. I'm not sure, but zucchini or the yellow squash. So what else do you think? What can I do with this tablecloth? Do you think I should put a little bit of green into it?
The tablecloth does not bother me, and it isn't an issue.
Okay.
It's one of the things that's like a background to the rest of the painting. I wouldn't worry too much about it. Instead, focus more on the main actors on your painting, like the big pumpkin that's on the platter. I
Yeah.
would resolve the shape of it a little better.
Yeah, I
Like,
know that got so flat. Maybe because I'm working flat, that could be, no? With on the table.
it's more your brush strokes. Make your brush strokes curve with the sides of the pumpkin so that
Okay.
they're reinstating the shape of it. Each brush stroke should curve up and around.
Yeah, the inside pieces, they turned out okay, but the outside pieces, yeah, it doesn't look
Mhm.
surround.
Exactly. I think
And
that would solve the problem.
and what do you mean making the bottles? Should I make the background around the bottles darker?
Lift up your painting and look at the lower right corner. You
Yeah,
see where that bluish purple bottle is?
yeah.
It grew to encompass that whole space. But if you look at the reference photo, that bottle just disappears into the
Oh, yeah.
background there.
Okay, so a little bit darker then, no? Okay,
Yes, exactly.
okay, good. It was
All
fun.
right.
Mhm.
Good job, my friend.
Okay. Oh, beautiful. Oh, I could buy that one. Beautiful.
Beautiful work.
Yeah, yours is beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Oh my.
All right, Lynn, whenever you're ready.
Mhm.
Hey, what?
Very round pumpkin.
Lynn, right off the bat, the pumpkin steals the show. I love it. I
Hmm.
absolutely love it. The pumpkin that's on the plate
Yeah.
has a nice shape to it. Um, the plate itself, I'm not that crazy about. It's
Mm-mm.
a little hard to tell what it is. Like, is it a cloth?
Mm-hmm.
I would paint it out
Okay.
because it isn't that crucial to your composition and it
Okay.
raises more questions.
Okay.
The highlight on the wedge, the cut wedge that's leaning up against the pumpkin,
Mm-hmm.
that's that's a little intense too. And
Nice.
and that's it. Everything else is painterly and beautiful. The pumpkin on its side steals the spotlight. It's gorgeous. It really draws us in. So as long as everything else kind of pings off of that, I
Mm-hmm.
think you're good to go. It'll be a successful piece.
Awesome. Thanks.
Beautiful work. Beautiful work.
Thank you.
This was a really challenging still life. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, the Dutch masters were masters for a reason. They spent a lot of time and effort studying how the colors bounce off of each object onto the next and so forth. So as you can see, there's a lot of visual information in a still life. Still life is what plein air artists do in the winter to sharpen their perceptual abilities.
Yeah.
So it's a really good exercise for you. On that note, I am sending you a David LaFell painting to copy for homework, which is incredible. It's a beautiful piece. And if you forge it well enough, you might be able to sell it on the black market for 6 figures.
It's not,
That's about what his paintings go for. But otherwise, it's really good exercise. And I hope you enjoy it. Now, next month is colorful people, places, and pets. So the concept is to create some Christmas gifts. If you wanted to do portraits or pet portraits or house portraits for presents for people, this will be the class for you. And it's very simple. It's a simple exercise that I do in my pet portrait workshops to loosen up your approach to color and to painting in general. So this is a fun exercise, I should say. It's not as much of a skill building exercise as it is fun, but you will be working on color temperature, substituting color based on value, and having some fun with it. Now, if you want something more challenging, the December drawing class is classical portraiture. So if you really want to understand the proportions of the human skull, how to accurately capture a person from life, you know, you might want to switch to the drawing class for that. So just to put a bug in your ear.
Okay.
Meanwhile, everyone have a very happy Thanksgiving.
You too, Sean.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. If you do anything in the next week, shoot me an email. I'd love to see it.
Okay.
They're so cute.
All right, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Take care
Have
and
a
have
good
a good
one.
night.
Happy Thanksgiving to you all.
You
Take
too.
care.
Very grateful for you.